Okay, what's going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of Energized. Ross, introduce the guest, man.
We have the next Cage Warriors lightweight champion, Joseph, the SPG hunter, McColgan. Joe, how are you doing?
I'm good, mate. Thank you. That's quite the introduction.
Yeah.
It sounds right, other than the fact that it's Joe, not Joseph. But I think you're thrown by the fact that my name Joseph is appearing on this Zoom link.
Well, I was trying to give you, the name in your passport, which I assume was Joseph, is that?
It is, yes. It is.
Okay, yeah. Well, when you go down on the record books, when you're signing that official documentation, when you're signing the contracts for the bout agreements, Joseph.
I actually don't even know. I think it might be Joseph. I'm not sure. Only my mum or my wife call me Joseph.
You'll have
when you're in trouble.
You'll have to update the birth cert to the champ as well now after this weekend.
This is it.
That's it. For the people that aren't aware, like Joe is fighting Aggie Sardari for the Cage Warriors lightweight title at Cage Warriors 124. That is this Friday, Joe. Isn't that correct?
That's correct. Yes, main event, Cage Warriors 124.
Joe, how are you feeling leading into this fight? Obviously, you've been here before. You're obviously unsuccessful against Mason Jones. What's going to make this time different?
Well, I mean, this time it's like comparing apples and oranges. It's just not the same. The last time was just like this. To describe it as chaotic would be the biggest understatement of the century. It was something I never want to have to experience again. The whole entry into that fight week was just the minute I signed for that fight was just it was just terrible. The week of the fight was terrible. The fight was terrible. The aftermath was terrible.
Was it anything in particular?
It was a combination of everything, and going into fight week is stressful as it is, but then you have everything shutting down and people close to you are saying, and rightly so, listen, it's not going ahead, and you're trying to cut calories, and then you're just trying to get tunnel vision to block everything out, but everything around you is telling you that it's never going to happen. So it was just I couldn't get into the zone, and I wasn't really feeling confident going into the fight. I accepted it because obviously the opportunity, you cannot turn that opportunity down. But I just knew I wasn't physically prepared to fight probably even a 3-round fight, never mind a 5-round fight against someone who's probably the hardest style matchup. Not the hardest matchup, just the hardest style matchup for me. To fight Mason Jones, I need to be prepared. I would need a 10-week camp, like nothing short of that. But I just saw the opportunity. I didn't want to let Cage Warriors down. I didn't want to let myself down, so I took it. And you ask about how it's different or how it's prepared me. Going through hardship always makes everything seem a bit easier, and that's exactly it. This feels like a breeze. I've been training for the past 12 weeks for one person, Aggie Sadari. Not that I tailor my training camp for any particular person. It's the same style, the same approach. Everything's the same for every fight, except I've just had 12 weeks of being focused in training camp. Whereas for all other Cage Warriors fights, you don't know your opponent from between 4 weeks out to 2 days out from the fight. So everything before that, you're training, yes, but it's not the same focus. It's not the same intensity as when you have a name there. So right now, I'm the best. I'm the best version of myself that I could possibly be. And what a perfect time to be in this position, mentally and physically, whenever you're going into the biggest fight of your life, the biggest opportunity for all the marbles. It's just, things are just working out great. And I can't wait to just display this on Friday night.
Joe, do you think the Cage Warriors doing the trilogy series actually really helps the fighters? Because once one trilogy series is finished, you're probably going to be on the next one. So the date at least you're training towards. So when you want to peak.
Exactly. It's brilliant for me because I work full time, so I can't be ready all the time. I need to know in advance when I'm going to be fighting, so that I can ring fence some time to focus solely on training. And obviously because I work in projects, so there's peaks and troughs in projects, so you can kind of know this time around May, March or whatever, I just don't think I'll be able to fight because it's going to be hectic and work. So I don't even think about fighting then. So having the trilogies, knowing roughly when they're going to be, allows me to plan things out and train accordingly. So I think it's been a great help. And just having during the pandemic something to for all fighters to aim towards has been massive. It's the pandemic probably could have and probably did for a lot of people put everything on hold, but for MMA everything continued. People improved, people got to advance their records. So and it's really all because of the UFC and Cage Warriors. Nobody else, because everybody else came a bit later. It was UFC and Cage Warriors doing it.
Definitely was, and they were definitely the market leaders in that area.
Yeah.
And one thing you sort of touched on comparing the last time you had a title fight to this time was the chaoticness. Are you very much a creature of habit, Joe? And do you like is the routine that really helps you, be the best version of yourself?
No, because I can adapt, to different situations. But I think it was just because everything was just shutting down. I couldn't get into the tunnel vision. I couldn't even begin to get into a routine because everybody was just saying, like, listen, this is just not happening.
Yeah. And did you have people telling you shouldn't be fighting?
No.
Okay. No.
They're too afraid to say that.
Yeah, like, you know what? I wish somebody probably had it told me to say, listen, Joe, like if you're not going to be, if you're not 100% physically ready, then it's not. I know what I told him I am fighting anyway, so it wouldn't have made a difference. I think you just have to go through these things, not only in fighting but in life, to learn lessons. And I have learned so many lessons from that one experience. And to prove that, they offered me Cage Warriors in March, offered me the Aggie Solari fight, and I turned it down because now there's another opportunity to fight for the belt, and I've said no because I referenced it earlier. I knew work was going to be crazy. I actually just bought a house with my wife, which needed a lot of work.
Congrats!
Yes, thank you.
And congrats on what, married September, was it?
Yes,
last year.
Yep.
Yeah. Things are all coming up John McColgan right now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, that again, even in the September one, I knew that I was going to be getting married. I could have fought, but I decided not to because I will never commit to a fight now until I know that I can get a proper camp. I'm not a youngster. I'm not one of these guys. Stay ready, all this. No, that doesn't work for me. I need to be able to commit to 10 weeks of training, and for me to commit to 10 weeks of training, it is hard work. I'm talking, I work 40 hours a week, and then I'm training full time on top of that. And like, so my rest is limited, and then you have to actually have a life outside of that as well. Do you know what I mean?
How does the wife take that?
She's fully supportive of it. So as soon as the Kieran Lister fight was on, she was at home watching the Jack Grant fight, going, "When are you doing your interview? You need to call either one of these out. You'll destroy both of these guys like in the first round." So she was like, before even saying, "Well done," she's like, "Right, get on to the next one." Like, I mean, like, who does that? You know, like, so like it's like this her support. It's like it's unquestioned. Like, she would never be like, "Oh, you're going out to training," or anything like that. It would be actually the opposite. If I was dicking about and she would be calling me out on it and be like, "Well, what are you doing? Get the training, do this, do that." Like fight week, she's like, write me a list of everything you need to do, and I'll go and do it. So
she's
shout out to her, by the way.
Year 2020,
that's
the year
pretty cool.
2021.
She's up there going,
she's clearing off the mantelpiece there just so you could put the goal there for next week.
Yeah, there isn't a list, but now that she knows I've dropped the hint.
The list is coming.
Yeah.
In fairness, Joe, it's great that you have such a good support system around you because that's something that you definitely need, especially with the full-time job as well. You do need the support of your loved ones, especially when you're chasing a goal or a dream. I suppose that's in all aspects of life. Anyone who's got like a side hustle or anything like that, you know what I mean? You need the support of those people around you. Just to get into this weekend's fight, Joe, what do you make of your opponent, and do you see him having any aspects that he's going to try and push the fight?
I think Aggie's very good. He seems to be well rounded. From what I've seen of him, anyway. I watched the full Desme fight, and I watched like 2 or 3 minutes of the Jack Grant fight. So I haven't really watched too much footage on him. It doesn't matter at this stage. I'm kind of like, I just do my own thing, and I think my style is a good style to have. It's heavy pressure and excellent takedown defense. and I'm good technical, and I throw with intent. So that's a hard style for anybody to go in against. And I think I don't need to change that for anyone. And it's the exact same here. I feel like I feel like his most dangerous attributes are his fight IQ. He has he can stay safe in dangerous situations, and he can steal the rounds. He can win the rounds evidently because his last two fights have been controversial decisions. Um, so he's just
He's like the Benson Henderson of Cage Warriors.
yes, he's doing enough to win the rounds in some people's eyes. I thought he lost the Desmond fight, but
So did I actually.
You know what? You could swing it either way.
Well, though, you know what? I think it was obviously not the same style was, but it's reminiscent of the Gustafsson fight, in a way where like Aggie was supposed to win. So evidently going into the fight, that when you see someone put up a challenge against it, you're like,
yeah,
hold on, actually, I think he's winning because you're almost up for the underdog.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Yeah, so you are probably biased towards Desmond because you're like, well, the fact that he's doing as well as he is, you're like, just this is like a massive shock because it should be destroying him. Desmond took it on 6 days' notice. Like, I think he took over the fight in the later rounds, and it's not because his pace is increases as the fight goes on. It's just that his opponents get tired. And Jack Grant notorious for gassing out. Donovan Desmond took in 6 days' notice. That's why he's kind of taken over in the later rounds because those guys like didn't have the conditioning in that fight to kind of keep the pace up. But so I think that's his most dangerous weapon is his IQ and his ability to stay safe in dangerous positions and to sneak it in the rounds.
Yeah, he does constantly look like he's sort of going at around 7, 8 out of 10 pace wise at like a steady pace across the rounds. He does sort of level out his pace quite quick from the offset,
which suits me very well. I like
that. Although Joe, you're a bit of a finisher yourself now. I don't think your last 5 fights have seen the first bell.
No, I do come out to throw. Like as I said, I could come out heavy pressure. I put my opponent on the back foot, and I just look to land good shots, good technical shots. Not always looking for the finish. If the finish comes, it comes. It's either going to come with the hands or I'm going to catch like a submission whenever they have a bad shoot, a panic shoot. And that's my view on all my fights on how they're going to go. Doesn't matter who they are. But for this time, I'm conditioned to go all the rounds. If it needs to go all 5 rounds, I'll be there in his face the whole time in the first round, right through to the 5th round. And I'm confident in that. He's got his hands full. As I said, he gets himself out of danger, but I'm going to put a lot of danger in front of him, and he's going to have his work cut out for him. I've said previously, if I see him going back into his corner and he's like nose breathing, then I need to up the pace, and I have the conditioning to up the pace. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good fight.
It sounds like it's going to be action packed from the start, Basmo, doesn't it?
Yeah, like obviously the trilogy starts on Thursday. You're fighting for the title on Friday, and then Ian's fighting for the title on Saturday. So it's going to be. And I think overall there's 5 like Irish-based fighters fighting on the card as well. We have nearly all of them coming on. Bar we're trying to still get in touch with Redzer. Shout out Redzer. But come here, Joe. What's this week look for you? Like when do you head over? Like who you bring with the team? Because obviously it's not in front of fans, unfortunately. Like what's the build up look like for yourself?
Yeah. So just today, obviously I'm in work today. But I'll go up and do like a light wee session tonight, like a massage, and then tomorrow just relax. Maybe another wee boxing session, just go over a couple of things. Wednesday we'll fly out. And I'll start my wake up on Wednesday night, Thursday weigh in, and then after that it's just the same old process. So my corner, it's my head coach Shando and Pat, and then Paul's going to be in my corner as well, so he's flying over. He's always he's very good to have around. He spars with me week in, week out. He's actually been injured. He's really badly hurt his shoulder. But he's been up every night every Tuesday we do doghouse rounds, or it's like I'm in the middle, and then we have fresh guys coming in trying to put me away. So he's actually been there. He's just been coming up anyway and cornering me with Pat and Shando. So it's like I've had that process 5 or 6 times. I've been through the fight. I've been through the difficulties, and the whole situation is going to be very similar to the fight. No crowd, no music. It's late at night. So I'm very well prepared, and I have a good corner team, the best corner team. Obviously, I have other coaches. Adam, Strong and Supple, who does my condition, nutrition, and stuff. Like he's got me in the fight shape, and then he's pulled out a plan that's going to get the weight down, and then put the weight back on, and then Donner, my boxing coach, who'd love to have over. It's just it's difficult during COVID times to have everybody over, and you're only at 3 corner men, and then quarantine in the hotel and stuff. So, who I've got right now is brilliant. And who I have back home as my coaches and the people around me is also amazing. Like it's perfect for me. So I'm really happy with everything, my prep and who I've got coming over.
Just the last one for me, Joe. Like obviously you're doing a job and like as well as doing this full time, and like I commend you so much, because like a lot of people do one or the other, but doing both is unbelievable, because everyone knows how difficult it can be to get out of bed sometimes. But like, are you focused on, like, is your dream to win the title this weekend, then like eventually like move on to a bigger shows, and then you could make fighting your full-time career and not have the job on the side? Or are you enjoying living both lives?
I wouldn't say I enjoy living both lives. It's really hard. It's hard work, but I would never want to be in a position where I have to rely solely on fighting as an income.
Yeah,
because I think I just like, even in the UFC, like how much you're actually getting paid whenever you take tax and pay coaches, pay management fees, pay training fees.
paying
Like
Paul to come over as well. He's not cheap.
exactly, he's not cheap at all. He's
Yeah, especially if he's got the blonde hair going.
yeah,
Extra.
oh no, fuck me, wild. He has to get it cut and dyed normally before he comes over. That's one of the rules. But listen, I don't think you earn that much money in the UFC. So from a financial point of view, I've never been driven financially when it comes to MMA. So my goal is to win this belt, and that has been a dream of mine since since day one, really. As I turned amateur, because Cage Warriors was the show. You had Conor McGregor and everything fighting with Cage Warriors, winning the titles. It was like, oh my god! Like even when I was going down with one of my teammates, Carl Moore, I was still an amateur, and Carl was fighting on Cage Warriors, and I managed to sneak in backstage, and I was watching Graham giving the interviews, and I remember thinking, fucking hell, this is just amazing. Paul Redman was there, warming up. Joe Duffy was there, and I thought, oh my god, look at all these guys. This is unbelievable. And now, like I've kind of worked my way up, and now I'm in a position where it's like I've surpassed all of those previous goals that I had set and ever imagined, reaching, and now I'm here fighting for the world title, a second bite of the cherry, and it's a dream come true. Anything that comes after this is just icing on the cake, but it's just that I can have the cake without it as well. So if like the UFC doesn't come, then it doesn't come. I'm not going to be crying about it. I've achieved a lot in this sport, and I'm really happy with everything. And like I said, if the UFC comes, I'll grab that opportunity with both hands. But if not, c'est la vie.
I want to put something out there, Ross, right? Obviously, Joe, you win the title this weekend. Ian wins the title this weekend as well. If Ian to fight Reese McKee, you to fight Redzer in like a Cage Warriors Dublin, like if that was the main and the co-main, like that would absolutely blow the roof off the kip. Ross, what to make of that one there, bud?
Yeah, well, like you can have all the money in my pocket if you want for that one, because that is absolutely legendary. Although, like, I don't like fights where I like both fighters fighting each other, because you don't know who to cheer on. But like as a spectacle for Irish MMA, like that's the elite of the elite.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to young Paul Hughes as well. He's obviously rehabbing that shoulder. It was very. I feel like he's very unlucky. He's the unluckiest man in Cage Warriors as well, with the Vucinic and Charrier fight falling out, because obviously he was looking at the winner of that, but now that fight's probably kicked down the road. So who knows when he gets a title shot next? But get well soon, Paul. I know he'll be watching. He's an absolute legend. Joe, tell us this Friday night. How does Joe McColgan end up with his hand raised?
By any means necessary. I'm going to go out and I'm going to put it on Aggie. And if the finish comes, it comes. And if it doesn't, then it's going to be 5 rounds of hard work, 5 rounds of hard pressure, throwing bombs, keeping technical, and just doing everything I can in my power to win that fight. And I am supremely confident. I sit here in front of you. I am supremely confident in my abilities to get this job done. There
you have it, guys. Joe, this fight goes down on UFC Fight Pass, correct?
Correct. At about 10. Main card kicks off at 8 p.m.
So you'll be on around 10 p.m.
By 10:30. Yeah, 10.
Okay, perfect. Well, make sure you're tuned in from 8 p.m. Watch the whole card. It will absolutely be gangbusters from the start to finish. Cage Warriors always is.
Yeah.
Guys, if you are watching this video and you have enjoyed it, make sure to head over to Joe McColgan on Instagram. Make sure to give him a follow his journey before he lifts that Cage Warriors lightweight title. It could be a where were you when moment, so make sure to be part of it. And if you are watching this video, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and as always, stay energized.
Energized.